How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. 22-year-old Trae Young will have superstar label attached to his name for years to come, coming off one of the best first-year postseason runs we've seen from any young player. Let's take a look back at the best postseason runs for every 22-year-old all time, and Trae absolutely up there as one of the most impressive ever. But a few other superstars, when they were 22, was just as spectacular in the playoffs, the way they carried their teams and flat out dominated. With that said, let's take a look at the best playoff runs by a 22-year-old all-time in NBA history. Just a heads up, everybody on this list at least made it to the conference finals. Number 10, surprise, surprise, Deron Williams, Utah Jazz 2007. In his second season, led his team to a 51-31 record. The 22-year-old, the full-time starting point guard, excelled under Jerry Sloan's system, put up over 16 points, 9 dimes in the regular season, having good players in Mehmet Okur, Andre Kirilenko, Carlos Boozer, Matt Harpring, and Derek Fisher. The backcourt of D, Will, and Fish worked to perfection. At the time, CP3's Hornets didn't make the postseason yet. Williams' 17 playoff games averaged over 19 points. His breaking out party came up big against the favorite 4-seeded Rockets in round 1 led by McGrady and Yao, dropped 25 in game 4 to even the series. A stellar game 7, 20 points, 14 dimes, chemistry with Boozer on point the whole series, played like a vet, and absolutely took it right to prime Baron Davis. An excellent 31.8 assist game 1 against the Red Hot Warriors. After falling game 3, Williams a 20.13 assist game 4 to take a commanding 3-1 lead, made the conference finals. A huge shock. Many didn't believe Utah was even going to make it past the first round. Although the Jazz were overmatched by San Antonio, Williams put in work, put up 34 points, 9 dimes game 1 loss, and a nasty one-handed slam, 26 and 10 assists game 2, a masterful 31.8 assists game 3 in the win, and a stellar 27.10 assists game 4, outplayed the eventual finals MVP Tony Parker. The leading scorer that series averaged almost 26 points, 8 assists, 53% from the field, an unforgettable first postseason run, and one of his best series all time. It's unfortunate how quickly Williams' career ended in what looked like a promising career with all-time great point guard potential. Number 9, Jason Tatum 2020 bubble, averaged almost 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, Boston's best player in those playoffs. Although Brown was the more efficient and better two-way Celtic, before the season, many didn't know if Boston was going to be Tatum's team, Brown's team, or Kemba's team. Tatum, the better scorer, dominated the Sixers in the sweep, averaged 27 points, 10 rebounds, 49% shooting against Toronto, a team with a better regular season record. JT went off in game 2, scored 34, looked like a superstar, while Kemba was slowing down as the playoffs progressed. JT delivered a 29-point, 12 rebounds, 7 assists game 7 to cap off a 5-point win. The conference finals, Miami got super duper hot. Rookie Tyler Hero played out of his mind. Tatum, the aggressor for Boston, averaged 26.5, 10 rebounds, over 6 assists, but struggled shooting a bit. A 30-point, 14 rebound game 1, overshadowed by Bam Adebayo's crazy block on him. Spoelstra heavily outcoached Brad Stevens. Dragic got the best of Kemba. Tatum had 29 in the 4th, but Hero, the unsung Miami Heat hero, had 37 off the bench. The Heat clicked better at the right time, beating the season 6. After the season, we all knew Boston was Tatum's team, and Walker days with the Celtics were going to be limited. Number 8, Kawhi Leonard 2014. Although he wasn't an all-star level player yet, the rise was inevitable. The starting small forward for San Antonio had his moments to shine, averaged 12 and 7 in the Dallas series, came alive against Portland game 5 closer, 22.7 rebounds, 5 steals from guarding 2 of the best players in the game in back-to-back series. MVP Kevin Durant and 4-time MVP LeBron did a fantastic job. 17 big points in game 6 against OKC, plus a timely block on Westbrook to survive the 6th game. San Antonio simply wouldn't have won that game without Leonard's brilliance. The finals was where he made his mark. Game 3, his best game up to that point of his career, the most important stage. 29 points on 10 of 13 shooting, heavily improved throughout the season, had a nasty putback dunk, helped his team control the momentum. Miami didn't have a chance, followed by 20 points, 14 boards, 3 steals, 3 blocks game 4, and a 22-point game 5 on 7 of 10 shooting. Super efficient, winning finals MVP. I can't rank 2014 Kawhi any higher since he did have fantastic players in Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, who all averaged between 14 to 18 points in the postseason. Leonard, the 7th leading Spurs scorer in that OKC series. Duncan would have gotten MVP of that one. Kawhi likely the MVP of the Portland round, but the first round 7 games versus the Mavs, series MVP would have likely gone to Duncan, then Parker, then Ginobili, before Leonard. Number 7, Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP all time, flat out filthy. At 22 years old, led his Bulls to 62 wins, a 21-game improvement from the previous year. Miami, Boston, and Orlando were supposed to be the 3 best teams in the East. The Bulls were supposed to win in the mid to high 40s, went right to work against the AC-seeded Pacers. Insanely aggressive and explosive, Rose was a bad outside shooter at the time, even went 0 of 9 from 3 in Game 1 versus Indy, but didn't matter since he still dropped 39, went 19 of 21 from the line. Always found ways to get to the hole, the change of speed, nifty footwork, a mastery at finishing inside, finding crazy angles. Averaged 27.5 points over 6 times in the 5-game series win. Rose continued to absolutely dominate. Second rounds against Atlanta, arguably his best ever series. Averaged a ridiculous 30 points, 10 assists, knocked off the 5th seed with a team led by prime Joe Johnson, prime Josh Smith, young Jeff Teague, Al Horford, and Jamal Crawford. Atlanta more offensive weapons than the Bulls. Second leading scorer Luol Deng just averaged 15 a game. Rose the engine to Tibbs' offense, heavily proved by far to be the best player in that series. His masterpiece Game 3, 44 points, 7 assists, capped off why he truly deserved the MVP in 2011. Atlanta had no answers, while Chicago's defense held the Hawks to 83 and 73 points games 5 and 6. Next up, the powerful Big 3 of Miami. In a series where the Bulls needed more offense, Rose 28 in Game 1, Chicago's only win. In a series where the MVP had to go up against the firepower defense of Wade and James, Rose limited to just 35% from the field, averaged 23.5 points. Second option Deng just 17. LeBron averaged nearly 26, 8 and 7. The better player also had way more help from his power forward. Chris Bosh absolutely destroyed Carlos Boozer in the series, outscoring him 23 to 14. Bulls poor execution in the 4th, 10 points in the final period of Game 2, absolutely struggled to close out games. Rose also played on a sprained ankle, had a multitude of dunks, and a memorable slam posterizing Joel Anthony. Miami, by putting James on Rose and clogging the paint, was able to take advantage. A close 5-game series loss, with Game 4 falling in overtime and Game 5 having no legs left, a 3-point loss. Number 6, Amar'e Stoudemire 2005. Stat was an absolute beast at age 22 with the Suns. 62 regular season wins, led by MVP Steve Nash. Nearly 30 points, 10.7 rebounds, 2 blocks, 54% shooting. Many of his buckets assisted by Nash. The pick and roll unstoppable. Had 34 points in Game 2 versus Memphis, followed by 30 points Game 3, a round 1 sweep. Stoudemire would then absolutely destroy, abuse, annihilated, humiliated, and demolish Eric Dampier and the Mavs in the semis in every way imaginable. A 58-win Dallas team was no joke. A 40-point, 16-rebound showdown in Game 1, 37 and 14 the 3rd game. The quickest player on the floor many nights, averaged 29, over a dozen boards, but teammate Nash was the best player that series. Stoudemire then put in work against San Antonio, whose game plan was to eliminate the good outside looks and allowing Amar'e to beat them. First 2 games without Joe Johnson, even Tim Duncan had trouble guarding young Amar'e, who scored between 31 to 42 points each of those 5 games, averaged 37 and 10 on 55% shooting, the leading scorer every one of those games. But the Suns could not stop Duncan, Ginobili, or Parker, all of whom averaged above 20 for the series. The future of Stoudemire in Phoenix appeared to be bright, but injuries slowed his career down. His athleticism in those mid-2000s Suns teams, magnificent to watch. Number 5, Kevin Durant. Second postseason, the 4 seed faced a well-balanced Nuggets team. Absolutely destroyed Denver in every way offensively. Made his presence felt. 31 points on 13 of 22 shooting in the Game 1 win. Russ Westbrook became a first-time All-Star that season. Durant also dropped 41 in the closeout, took over scoring 16 in the final period, averaged 32.4 points his first series win. Young Durant doesn't get talked about enough how great he was. went up against the tough, physical, grinded Grizzlies in round 2. The front line of Zebo and Gasol knocked off San Antonio. The Red had his big test, still balled out, dropped 35 in the triple overtime Game 4 win to tie the series after having one of his worst playoff games, up 3-2, held to 3 of 14 shooting in Game 6 by Tony Allen. Durant shined brightest in Game 7, coming up big with a 39-point 13 of 25 shooting, controlled the tempo of the game from the start, never looked back. There was no stopping 22-year-old KD in his first Game 7, although his Thunder came up short against the red-hot Nowitzki's Mavs in the conference finals. KD did have one of his best dunks in Game 2 over the 7-footer Brendan Haywood, averaged 29 points, 9.5 boards in the conference finals, but 2 blown leads in Games 4 and 5. The inexperienced Thunder would go to the finals the following year. Who knows how many titles they would have won if Harden wasn't traded. Number 4, Trae Young, proven to be made for the moment, first ever postseason taste. What better place to perform than at the biggest stage, debuting at Madison Square Garden, absolutely fearless, not being named an All-Star. That mistake shall never happen again. The 5th seed, the biggest surprise of the 2021 postseason perhaps, a 32-point 10-assist debut, the go-ahead floater for the game-winning shot to take momentum, tear down the Knicks defense, too crafty and quick. Young proving to be an elite passer, a 36-point closeout at the Mecca. New York had no chance, averaged 29 points and 10 dimes, a very good result, not given much of a chance against the first place Sixers, who seemed to have an easy path to the conference finals. Young absolutely outplayed the unconfident Ben Simmons, a 35-point 10-assist Game 1, the Sixers way better team on paper, especially without DeAndre Hunter. Sixers blew an 18-point lead, followed by a 26-point lead. Young feisty, never quit, despite having an off Game 7, nailed a key jumper late 4th quarter. Of course, the epic Game 1 48-point 11-assist masterpiece performance against the Bucks absolutely torched all defensive team of Drew Holiday. A phenomenal performance. His unbelievable season came to a bitter end, stepping on the ref's foot in Game 3, didn't play 4 and 5, hobbled Game 6, fell to Milwaukee 4-2, averaged almost 29 points, 9.5 dimes in 16 postseason games, an unforgettable start, plenty more memorable postseasons to come. Number 3, LeBron James 2007. Nowhere near his most impressive playoff run, but 22 years old, the East was wide open. After Miami got old and slow, Detroit wasn't the same without Ben Wallace. New Jersey wasn't much of a threat, neither were the Bulls. First round series versus the Wizards, without 2 of their 3 best players in Gilbert Arenas and Caron Butler. James, Larry Hughes, and Ilgauskas, too much for Antoine Jameson to handle. LeBron averaged 28, 8.5 boards, 7.5 assists, made it a 4-game sweep. A second round matchup with the 500 Nets team. Hughes and Pavlovich played great defense on Jefferson and Carter. LeBron averaged nearly 25, over 7 boards, 8.5 assists for the series, a 4-2 win, going up against 2 41-win teams. Not to discredit Washington and New Jersey, but neither one of those teams would have even sniffed the playoffs in the West. The Wizards were more like a 30-win team without Arenas. The 07 Pistons, without 4-time Defensive Player of the Year Ben Wallace. Second-year Flip Saunders wasn't the same as Larry Brown. Instead, 34-year-old Chris Webber, the starting big, a shell of his former self. James was sensational, one of the best individual performances. Game 5, double overtime driller, 48-point game, scored 29 of the team's last 30 points, still one of his top 5 greatest playoff games. The clincher Game 6, James only needed 3 field goals plus Daniel Gibson's career 31-point outburst helped clinch the spot to the finals. While the West was way more intriguing than the East in 07, James's all-around outside game still a work in progress, averaged just 22 against San Antonio in the finals, 36% from the field. His Cavs had no shot. Despite getting to the finals, James's maturity and greatness assured him for years to come, but his averages of 25, 8 and 8 on under 42% shooting in the 07 playoff run actually ranks near the bottom of his best playoff seasons. Of course, a 22-year-old leading his squad to the finals, an incredible accomplishment, but beating just one team with a winning regular season record to get to the finals, and Detroit 53 wins, but just 17 and 13 versus the Western Conference. That Pistons teams would have likely finished 6th place in the West, but because of the Game 5 performance versus Detroit, the moment he fully became King James makes him top 3 on this list. A fantastic, memorable run. Number 2, Magic Johnson 1982. Not rookie Magic, but 3rd year Magic. Picked up where he left off after a hobble second season. Johnson locked in because his team earned the top seed. The Lakers had a first round bye, only 3 series to play. The semis against the Suns missed the triple-double average 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 3 steals on 57% shooting. Jamal Wilkes, Jabbar, Norm Nixon, Bob McAdoo, and Michael Cooper made Showtime nearly unstoppable. Johnson was an assist shy in Game 3 to post a triple-double every game in the semis. Conference finals against George Gervin's Spurs, Magic averaged 16.5 points, 11.5 boards, nearly 10 assists, 3.5 steals. Nixon, Jabbar, and McAdoo all averaged 20 plus in that sweep. LA had a 12 days rest before playing the Sixers in the finals. Philly had home court. LA used a 40-9 run in the first game to win by 7. Game 3 and 4, Magic had 22 and 24 points, took a commanding 3-1 series lead. Back home in Inglewood, Game 6 closeout, Johnson a 13-13-13 stat line, winning his second title in 3 seasons. Of all the Showtime title years, 82 doesn't seem to get talked about enough, but arguably the most important one since the franchise fired former coach Paul Westhead. The newly Pat Riley took over mid-season. Part of that had to do with Magic not liking Westhead's style, disgruntled, and even demanded to be traded if the Lakers didn't win the title under first-year Riley. It could have been very possible Magic could have went elsewhere if the Lakers don't win this championship. The finals MVP could have been a toss-up. Wilkes averaged the most points but shot under 44%. Kareem and Nixon also had strong cases, but ultimately Magic, the engine to the offense, earned his second trophy in 3 years. A well-balanced team as you'll ever see. Number 1, Kobe Bryant, 2001. Many remember Shaq winning Finals MVP, but Kobe in the 01 postseason, the 22-year-old absolutely special. One of the most dominating playoff teams there will ever be. The duo of Kobe and Shaq knocked off 4 straight 50-plus win teams and made it look effortless. Bryant averaged 29.5 points, 7.3 rebounds, over 6 assists in the 16 games. Warmed up in the 3-0 sweep against Portland, Kobe averaged 25, Shaq 27. But the next 2 series, absolutely mesmerizing Kobe stuff. The 22-year-old went to work against Chris Webber's Kings, put up 29, 27, 36, followed by a 48-point, 16-rebound closeout Game 4, one of Kobe's greatest games. Absolutely destroyed all defensive teamer Doug Christie, the best 1-2 punch by far in any postseason run. Kobe and Shaq's game complemented each other perfectly, both unstoppable. Derek Fisher, the third-leading scorer for the Lakers that postseason. Kobe already a master at the fundamentals, the turnaround jumpers, athleticism, high-flying jams, and lockdown defense. Kobe had the complete package, also made short work of MVP runner-up Tim Duncan's Spurs. Bryant, a 45-point, 10-rebound Game 1 in San Antonio, absolutely took the momentum from the series from the start, had 28 in the second game, drained the dagger late to help his Lakers get a 7-point win, continued to do damage at home with 36, 9, and 8, looked like he was playing 2K easy mode out there, followed by a 24-point, 11-assist Game 4 where he could have scored more, but the damage was already done before the 4th. San Antonio arguably the second best team that year and would have been the real final series. Kobe was clearly the best player that series, averaged 33.3 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, on over 51% shooting. Kobe's defense against those Spurs super special, absolutely fearless, attacked the Twin Towers at will, dunking on Duncan and out-muscling Robinson. The battle with San Antonio gets overshadowed by the Philly series, since that was just the Western Conference Finals, not the real finals, where Shaq took over against the Sixers. Philly, a defensive, slow-paced team, physical. Kobe only had one bad playoff game, the 15-point Game 1 Finals, where Iverson took over with 48. Kobe then followed up with 31 and 32 the next 2 games, taking a commanding lead, never looked back, had 26 in the closeout, capping off a repeat. Kobe and Shaq in the 01 playoffs, literally 1A and 1B. Shaq would have been the MVP of that Portland series and obviously the Sixers, but Kobe was simply the MVP versus the Kings and Spurs to put up nearly 32, 7, and 6, going 11 and 0 against the West with 5 other All-Stars in Rasheed Wallace, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Duncan, and Robinson. Kobe's 2001 playoff brilliance, the best 22-year-old playoff performer in NBA history, no doubt about that.
And it's good to play with the best player in the world on your team because it makes stuff a lot easier. Kobe calls you the best player in the world.
Honorable mentions includes Paul George 2013, who turned 23 before the conference finals. Chris Paul turned 23 on May 6 during the second round of 08. played 7 postseason games at 22, while Jerry West played 12 postseason games at 22, averaged nearly 23 a game, lost to St. Louis in the West Division Finals. I also will not mention Luka Doncic since he lost in the first round to the Clippers. He was special, but losing in the first round does not count for a playoff run. While Tim Duncan was already 23 by the 99 postseason, that's why I didn't include him, and 22-year-old Kareem Jabbar in his first 7 playoff games in 1970 averaged 36.3 points, nearly 17 rebounds before turning 23. Rick Barry also turned 23, his 4th game of the 67 playoffs. Bill Russell turned 23 before the 57 postseason en route to his first title, which just goes to show my preparation and research for this video, in case you guys like to include other players like, oh, why didn't you mention this guy? Oh, why didn't you mention so and so? Well, since I simply does this research. Thank you so much for watching this video. Who do you guys think had the best run for any 22-year-old in NBA history in the postseason? Let me know in the comments below. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, anything basketball that will interest you. So if you're not subscribed, just hit the subscribe button. More good stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.